Hi, I'm Robert Wilson. This is my wife, Kathy. And you guys may remember us from last year. We came up after the Family Advocacy Days that was in Washington, D.C. to advocate for Le Bonheur and other children's hospitals. We're back. But today we're going to give you our family story instead of telling you about the trip to D.C. So our eldest daughter is Anne here closest to me. And then her little sister is Mary Quay over there in my lap. So with that intro, now I'm going to turn it over to Kathy.
And we joke, he does the parts that I might cry at, so I'm going to handle stuff that's happy, and then he'll do other stuff. So if you'll do the next slide. Okay. So this is Anne. She was born in April of 2004, and she was very tiny. She was 4 pounds, 9 ounces when she was born, which came as a big surprise to us. And she was also diagnosed with a cleft palate when she was born. So we quickly found out she was going to need surgery. And really the first kind of thing, we grew up in Memphis, but neither one of us has ever been patients at Le Bonheur. So one of the first questions we had is, do we need to leave Memphis to get good care for our child? We were first-time parents, scared, knew this needed to happen. And through talking to our pediatrician and everybody we talked to, we were assured that we would get great care here at Le Bonheur. So when she was 11 months old, we came to Le Bonheur. So this is her, and taking 11-month-old surgeries, because they have no idea what's getting ready to happen, And so these are some after surgery. And the cleft repair was really painful surgery. I mean, it's very difficult. It's hard to get them eating again. But there was so much about Le Bonheur that made it easier for us. We really came to appreciate the difference in a children's hospital. She wouldn't eat. And the fellow rounded and said, take her to the playroom, let her forget she's in a hospital. And I'm like, whatever, this is not going to work. Took her to the playroom, came back, she immediately ate, and we were able to go home, which was huge. Adult hospitals don't need playrooms, but children's hospitals do. So we went home after 3 days once she started eating, and we used to say when we gave our story that she had not been a patient at Le Bonheur since then. However, Mother's Day weekend, in her own words, she was going faster than she had ever gone before on her new bike, and then was on the ground. So you
can see the before and after pain meds.
Yeah. And literally, we went out. We were trying to assess what was wrong, and she was like, just get the car. I don't want to go inside. Just, I'm happy. Let's go to Le Bonheur. And so, and in that state, it was neat for us to see her as a 9-year-old and to see not only did she get excellent medical care, but what good care the ED staff did in helping her be a part of her care and telling her what they were going to do, really talking to her about it. And she was excited. The sweet ED guy only had white in the ER, and she did not want a white cast. And so he went to Central Supply and searched until he could find colors and brought back pink so she could have a colored cast. So that's kind of Anne's Le Bonheur story. And we really feel like while our first experience with Anne was minor compared to what we went through with Mary Quay, that we really feel like God was preparing us for what was going to happen next, which is a crying part. So he's going to take over from me. So.
This is always the fun part. No, when we were pregnant with our second daughter, Mary Quay, we went to the 20-week ultrasound, and we're going to find out if we're going to have a boy or a girl, and we were thrilled to find out that we were going to have another daughter. Also, though, the tone with the tech and then with the doctor kind of changed because there was some things that they were concerned about. And what we wound up finding out through our next appointment with the high-risk OB just 2 hours later at a different office was that she had a neural tube defect, and that was later confirmed to be spina bifida. And the maternal fetal doctor that we saw gave us a very grim prognosis and walked us through all the probabilities of the really bad things that would come from that, and then from the hydrocephalus as well. And really, even his first option that he thought we should consider was termination. And, that's just a real gut check the day that you're going to find out, what sex is our child going to be. And a few hours later, you're in that room having that type of conversation. So from that, we started doing research because, of course, we were going to go with whatever God's plan was for Mary Quay and our lives together. And as we started researching, we found out that some of the material that we had was kind of dated, and getting more information and finding out more about spina bifida. And then subsequent visits, we got a lot of hope and started to see things that were brighter And we came back to that same question that we had with Ann a few years before of, okay, to get the best care for our child, do we need to leave Memphis? And so we talked to our pediatrician, we talked to other doctors that we knew in town, to other people. And once again, everybody came back and said, you know, between the specialists at Sims Murphy and the other specialty doctors that are here in town and the staff and everybody in the facilities at Le Bonheur, no way, you can stay here. And that was such a comfort to us because we were going to have an almost 3-year-old at the time that Mary Quay was born. We have our family support system here, and to just know that we could stay home and have the top quality of care was a huge blessing to us.
All right, so Mary Quay was born in March of 2007. She was born full term. And so that is one of her first pictures in the NICU at the hospital we delivered at. And then she came to Le Bonheur that afternoon and had surgery the next day. And so we spent the next 2.5 weeks in the NICU and the NICU step-down unit. And this was obviously a much more involved stay. I really didn't know how many medical specialties there were until they all came rounding through our NICU room. And so we really, from the doctors to the therapists to lactation consultants, we got a much more in-depth view of everything Le Bonheur has to offer. And it was really that visit where we fell in love with Le Bonheur. And we really saw patient family-centered care, although I don't think we could have told you that's what it was. But we knew that we were in the prototype unit in the old hospital, so we were able to stay with her in the room. And then also just from the way all the nurses and staff included us in decisions, made sure we were comfortable taking her home. She's still catheterized today, and we had to learn how to do that to take her home. And just all the ways that we were cared for, that she got excellent medical care, but we were also cared for during what was a difficult time for us.
Yeah, and I just have sort of the add-on from that experience. You know, we delivered at another facility, of course, and there when we visited, we were visitors, and we had like a very short period of time that we could see our child, and just the kind of the way we were treated. And then they had transported Mary Quay via ambulance, and I was supposed to be going right along with her, and they hadn't told us. So I was racing to get to Le Bonheur to catch up to my child, and of course she had had a C-section, so I was it. So I come through the doors in the NICU, and right away the receptionist that was there was like, "You must be Mr. Wilson." It's like, whoa, she knows who I am. She just said, "Welcome, we're glad to have you here. Your daughter's right here in number 1. I need you to come over and do the hand scrub." And she walked me through everything, but just the tone and the welcome was from her to the nurses who rotated through, to the doctors who came and saw us. Everybody basically said, "You're now here with us. You're a part of the team. You're not a visitor. We're not going to treat you like we want you out of the way. You're part of the team and you are welcome here. We want you involved." And it was just such a contrast to what we had seen in adult settings and in other settings that just really was a huge blessing to us.
And so Mary Quay has come a long way since these early pictures. So we've got a slide that shows some of her current activities. She can do butterfly better than I can. She's doing swimming lessons, and her swimming teacher has decided she's going to be in the Paralympics and is ready to start training her for swimming. She started horseback riding. She takes gymnastics at Little Gym. And so, you know, as we look back on our story, we could see where Le Bonheur and our faith really gave us hope. And this is not what we thought, but y'all gave this to us.
I should have taken that part. And you know, as we were kind of updating, you know, our original talk from a while ago, you know, we realized sort of the maturity or the cycle. You know, now we've been able to be more involved with you guys, and being on the Family Partners Council has been a great experience for us to get to work with you guys in so many different ways, and go into DC to advocate for Le Bonheur and other children's hospitals. And we went to a conference and were able to study on sort of the power of storytelling, but also on all the empirical data that shows that family and centered care, the results, it's there in the data. The outcomes are so much better. So to be able to see how it all comes together, it's from that initial visit when we didn't even know what it was, but we could just tell it was different and it was warm and special and better. Now we kind of are in there with you guys, and we're so glad to be joyfully celebrating with you what Le Bonheur is. and striving with you to make it even greater over time.
And I think I've been able to mentor in the fetal center now, and that was something that was not available for us when I was pregnant. And just really to see how LeBonner now start taking care of babies before they're even born. It's just really neat to be a part of that, but also to see what we're offering to families, and that it's not just we're going to get you to the right OB, but we're going to introduce you to the surgeon that's going to treat your child. We're going to bring Jack or another chaplain in if that's what you need. We're going to bring Child Life in to really support the family before the baby's born, because that can be a very long, difficult time from diagnosis to delivery. So we just want to say thank you for everything y'all have given us, and these are our beautiful girls.
Thanks.
Thank y'all.